inini mafungiro angu nemaziro andinoita ZANU-PF nekuziva kwayo kuti yanga yarohwa ma-elections atura vakagara pasi ndokufunga zano kuti let us cause violence mutaundi mutigozoti isere opposition yakonzera ngati mheremhere nemirizvo izvo takagara tichitozviita izvo. We used to do that. Hakuna anogona kumira apa in ZANU-PF achidispute what I'm saying because I was the commandant. So hakuna anozviramba zvinotoitika in ZANU-PF vachikotwa. Tafuna kuchinzwa statement iyoyo icheke inotaurwa kuZANU-PF. You cannot separate ZANU-PF from its military wing.
Well, this is the beauty of coming to testify to a commission, and since he has testified, it's up to the commission as to what they will do with that information. Jim and all the writers as Zimbabwean citizen invited by the commission, by the way, to come and say his point of view and also to say things as he saw them.
Right.
Yes.
Honorable Monjora, just a quick comment on the hearings today at the Commission of Inquiry.
Well, I think the evidence that we have had so far is evidence that is pointing to the state. There is no question about it. First of all, the evidence from the husband of the woman who was shot clearly showed the heart-rending nature and the sad nature of all this whole episode. The evidence by the former ZANU-PF people, to me, sounded like confessions of what people used to do. And the sad part is that Zimbabweans have been doing this to each other. I think there has been enough similar fact evidence that has been shown by ZANU-PF people to even point to the involvement of ZANU-PF. The ballistic expert that who testified today, clearly her evidence was important for one important detail. Certainly shots were not fired from the ZCTU offices because the impression created was that some gunmen or gunmen were in the ZCTU offices, obviously seeking to link the MDC. But it was clear from the lady, the ballistic expert, that the firearms were fired from outside, inside. How people would fire into a building with the possibility that there are people inside the building shows the murderous nature of whoever fired those firearms. It was totally irresponsible. It was totally uncalled for. And I think that the military authorities must do further investigations on this thing.
And there was a point that was raised, and that issue of ZANU-PF manipulating the system in order to implicate the MDC. But the evidence that was brought now was to an extent that ZANU-PF had or was actually planning towards something of this nature as a way of inflicting fear in people to prevent any further insurrections. What's your take on that?
I totally agree. I totally agree because the evidence of Jim Kunaka was important. First, previously ZANU-PF has infiltrated the police. They have taken the police uniform and they've acted as if they were the police. And therefore the ZANU-PF can take the uniforms of armed forces and so on. It ceases to become a state thing. It's a party thing. But it is the attempts to implicate the opponents, the MDC in particular, that were shown clearly in this whole episode. And the evidence that should not be overlooked, the damning evidence, was the evidence of Paddington Japa. He followed behind the army, and he could locate each of the bodies that he discovered. And it is consistent with what was found on the ground. And that evidence, I think Mr. Japa, people like him must be commended, very courageous. What is important is that this must mark the end of the sad episode of the Zimbabwean history, we must never again see these things again. But what is important is the justice which is coming out. We hope that the state authorities are going to act accordingly.
Unfortunately,
there was an important element that came out during the interviewing of the witness Japa Japa, and that is the constitutional matters around the security sector. And I know as the MDC you are advocating for security sector reforms. What are some of the things that came out of this commission, this hearing, that you feel the constitution is to work on, or is the, because you are part of the constitutional making process, does the constitution answer the questions that arose out of this particular commission of inquiry?
It actually does. One of the security sector reforms that must happen is the need to educate the security sector on the constitution, on the provisions of the constitution. For example, the constitution is very clear on deployment of armed forces and under what circumstances they can be deployed and who actually does it. But there appears to be a misunderstanding on the part of the state on when it comes to deployment. There is no discipline with following the constitution. That's number one. Number two, it is to deal with tampering with evidence, even where the armed forces have been in operation. There is no need to destroy evidence. We have had information that and evidence that the important evidence was tampered with. We have also a situation where the citizenry, instead of complimenting the armed forces, complimenting the security forces, is actually afraid. The story of the people who went with the body to Paranyatwa, the original impression was that these were thugs. But we then had evidence that these were traumatized people. There was a woman shot who could not seek medical treatment because of so much fear. So people are afraid of the security forces, people are afraid of the army, the police, the CIO, that they even could die. We do not know what happened to that woman. Could even die because of fear to be treated, because they were afraid to be followed.
And saying your colleagues did this.
Yes.
And I want to come back to another issue about the security sector. And here is a situation where investigations ought to be done and brought to a logical conclusion. But from the hearing, the impression that I got is that certain investigations were relegated to a later stage, like where the ballistics experts were not able to go through the evidence of every victim, for instance, or every place where an incident of the 1st of August could have happened, and that they only went to these local inspections after a sizable number of days after the event, which led to maybe the evidence being tampered with in the first place. What's your comment around that?
One is tempted to think that the delay in investigations was to enable the evidence to be tampered with, to give enough opportunity to the criminals to destroy their evidence. The fact that up to now we have not had a single arrest in connection with the offences that took place from either side. I mean, even arrest from the people that the army and the police are alleging to have committed the offences. There is no such a thing, which points out the fact that the state is knowledgeable regarding the perpetrators, and these perpetrators have to be protected in brackets. So the CID is not doing the state any favor at all. It is inefficient, it is hiding evidence, it is covering up, and this is a scandal.
All right. Thank you, Honorable Nzera, for that brief comment.
Thank you.
All right.